Aaron Sebumana, a 58-year-old farmer in Burundi, is maintaining his cassava field. He is happy with the yield he's getting from the plants. But Aaron remembers too well how he suffered when his crop got destroyed by cassava diseases.
muri icyo gihe nyine maze imyumbati imaze kugwara urumva hari igihe umuntu aba afise nk'agatungwa akikora kuri ako gatungwa akagenda nko mu isoko akomeza asuma nk'utuje mu isoko.
Millions of people in Africa depend on cassava. It is one of the main sources of food and income. But two viral diseases are causing a drop in the cassava production. Cassava mosaic disease and cassava brown streak disease are raging through the African fields. Almost 90% of all the plants on the continent are affected by one of these diseases.
Both of these viruses are transmitted by whiteflies. Whiteflies are tiny insects that feed on the sap of cassava leaves. And when they move from an infected plant to a healthy plant, a little bit like malaria being spread from from an infected to a healthy person, they carry the parasite with them and infect the healthy plant.
Cassava mosaic disease hampers the growth of the plant, resulting in low yields. Brown streak disease is even worse, since it makes the roots rot and farmers can lose their entire harvest.
Nikipanda mihogo inaoza, kwa maana hiyo na kwa sipati soko la kuuza ile mihogo na kwa mibaya imeharibika.
Both cassava roots and leaves are high in nutrition, and it is an important source of calories in the tropics. Its drought resistance makes it a very reliable food crop in Africa. Cassava's industrial potential is also enormous, as derivatives like flour, paper, and ethanol open new opportunities for farmers. The cassava diseases are a threat to the plant's potential. While mosaic disease plagues the whole continent, outbreaks are the most severe in Central and Eastern Africa. But it is brown streak disease especially that puts cassava's production at risk. While initially brown streak disease was confined to the coastal areas in Eastern Africa and the shores of Lake Malawi, the virus started to spread to the west in 2004. Most recently, outbreaks have been reported as far as Central African Republic, Gabon, and Angola. A regional approach is necessary to tackle the problem.
La situation géographique du Burundi est particulière, dans la mesure où elle se situe à côté de la Tanzanie, à côté du Rwanda, à côté de la République démocratique du Congo, et les frontières sont vraiment poreuses. Les mouvements de population ne sont pas régulés, ce qui veut dire que les maladies, ou les plants malades, ou les animaux malades même peuvent se déplacer du Burundi en Tanzanie, du Congo au Burundi, du Rwanda au Burundi, ou vice-versa.
With funding from the European Union, the Regional Cassava Initiative was rolled out in 7 countries. Coordinated by FAO, the 4-year project strengthened the resilience of cassava-producing communities and built capacity in surveillance and disease identification at local, national, and regional level. One of the initiative pillars is research. Disease-resistant or tolerant varieties of cassava were grown and made widely available to farmers.
Avec les différents projets régionaux, y compris celui-ci, on a permis aux populations d'avoir accès au matériel sain de plantation, aux différentes variétés qui sont productives. Et on peut le voir même au niveau des prix. En ce moment, le prix de la farine de manioc était tellement élevé. Nous parlons des années 2005, 2006, 2006 sur la mosaïque était très élevé. Maintenant, les prix sont relativement contrôlés.
maze kubiteragira ndari muri iki gihe imvura iraza neza ije neza hama ndimbura bimwe ndagurisha nguramwe impene zitatu muri izo mpene zitatu zimaze kumpa 200 mbona arubakishijemwo n'inzu.
Surveillance information was also made widely accessible to ensure government and other decision makers can respond efficiently whenever the diseases appear.
Dans ce laboratoire, où nous trouvons, c'est un laboratoire de diagnostic des virus exactement. Nous avons besoin de savoir, à travers les échantillons que nous collectons dans les différentes provinces, dans les différentes localités, nous avons besoin de savoir si le virus de la strie de prune est présent ou pas. Et comme ça, nous savons comment agir dans les différentes provinces selon que la maladie est là ou non.
National cassava commissions were set up to help government ministries work together with other stakeholders to control disease spread. Small-scale farmers learned how to recognize the diseases and how to deal with them. Salima Juma was one of the farmers.
Kwa mfano tumejifunza kupanda miogo, kujifunza magonjwa. Kwa maana hiyo tulivyopanda miogo tunajua ugonjwa huu yani unatudhuru, kwa maana hiyo tunatoa ule tunapanda mwingine tunaangalia, kwa hiyo miogo ilivyokuja vizuri, kwa hiyo mavuno yake yakawa mazuri na unafanya soko lilikuwa zuri.
But the regional cassava initiative didn't come without challenges, as a new brown streak disease epidemic occurred halfway through the project.
What happens is, as we avail some materials that are resistant or tolerant to cassava mosaic virus, they tend to be susceptible to the brown streak disease.
While progress has been made, more effort is still needed to sustain one of the main gateways to food security in Africa, cassava.